Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this edition of podcast where we'll be featuring Mr. Jigme, who was our product manager at ANB Systems. Welcome to the show, Jigme. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, ma'am. And it's a pleasure to feature on this particular series. And thank you for having me today.
Thank you. Jigme, let's travel back in time and let us know how you got introduced to ANB. And you are the manager of Business Analyst now. And how was the entire career growth with ANB has been for you? I think you started in 2015.
Yeah, seems like a very short time. A decade, it has gone. It's almost a decade now. From January, back in January 2015, I was looking for a job because I hit the ceiling in my previous company, and there was no learning growth there. So I was looking around in typical recruitment sites and all, and I found the job description posted by Anand long back.
Yeah.
And then I remember applying for it. I just called. I vividly remember calling Anand, and he just asked me to come for an interview on a Saturday morning. So, and then during that time, Selvan was my interviewer. So I went to the interview and fortunately got accepted. And from there, it was a very quick journey, but at the same time, it's a lot of positive yieldings on my side in terms of both career growth as well as the organizational growth. So I've seen how ANB has grown over time in terms of scalability, in terms of technology, in terms of products, maturity, right? And I feel I'm very fortunate to be part of that growth. And also, along with the organization growth, also I've achieved a lot of growth on my personal side.
Absolutely.
And also on the career growth side. I started off with the business analyst, and then after 3-4 years, I featured as a lead business analyst. Now I'm a product manager.
And you're managing how many people now?
Currently, I have around 4 team members under me.
Okay. So you joined in 2015 and you took a break.
Yes.
And you came back. How was that? Did you have to take a break for a personal reason, or what made you take a break, and what made you come back to ANB? Because we were all excited when you came back to ANB.
So the break that I took was purely for personal reasons, family matters that I had to commit to. And then the reason I joined back was purely in terms of growth and all. In the time period that I've spent, most of the organizations, what basically you will look for is being at the beginning of the career, it's very important to look for a growth. And ANB Systems, is basically not afraid of trying new stuff. And then and more importantly, it gives you the freedom of trying new stuff, right? So I kind of like that about our company. I kind of like that about organization. That's why I kind of joined back.
You joined back. You are a very quiet person, Jigme. We don't get to interact with you all the time. We see you, you just say hello and you go. We know you as a product BA person. What are the other things that we don't know about you? Do you want to give us some insight about you? I know you recently got married. That we'll come to that point later. But who's Jigme?
I'm basically a shy, hesitant, quiet person, as you have seen in the company. I feel like, I'm more open-minded, more open in the company. On my personal side, I'm rather more quiet compared to company. I'm very open to every interactions that we have along teammates.
Yeah.
I'm very open. I don't think our colleagues know me as a very quiet person over here at ANB. But on the opposite side, on my personal life, I'm really a quiet person.
I still think that you're a very quiet person in ANB, but we got to see your other side when we went for the conference in Pune, and you are a fantastic dancer that no one knew about it. So, you do have another side that I was in awe, and I went and told Bala, we always think Jigme is a quiet person, but he can grow very well. That is one thing. Apart from this, I am pretty sure, because you came as a very young person here and you have matured, you're married now, and you're leading a team. What is one piece of advice that you'll give? Because as you can see, out of the 200 plus people, I think we have more than 50% is a very young generation that we have roped in, and they have the spark in the eyes to grow. What is, if we decide to assign you 10 new individuals to your team, like young crop, what is the advice that you will give them, and how will you mold them? What is one piece of it? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of the people are looking up to you and saying, this is Jigme and I would like to be like him, I want to be like him. So what is one piece of advice that you give to the young people?
Yeah, I think it's a very important question, and a lot of times I think about that. And I make sure that every interactions that I have with my juniors, or even an associate manager every time I have that interaction, in my back of the mind, right, I have this thought process in mind that it's not just about assigning tasks rather, but it's about teaching them the importance of doing that specific task, and more importantly, in their terms of growth, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how does it help them in
To
terms
scale up.
to scale up? Right? That's very important. That's first factor. Second thing that from their point of view, right? Always make sure that, to me, one of the critical steps that I took was basically reflect on things that I've achieved and things that I've done, including all the mistakes that I've made.
Yes.
I think in order for us to grow, for anybody to grow, right, having an understanding of your own strength, your weakness, and at the same time, things you have done, right? When you do a retrospect on the activities that you've done before, that's when you realize, and that's when you'll be able to be critical about yourself, and then you'll understand, oh, I could have done these things a little better by changing the way.
So you learn from your mistakes.
Yes.
And that has helped you definitely.
Yes. And then reflection and retrospect of the things that happen in your life, and be it on a personal side and be it on the work, especially on the work side, right? I think that gives you that additional edge that you need to grow. Unless you don't understand where things are for you, right? And you will not know the ceiling, the next ceiling that you want to be actually. So I feel that portion has helped me, and
you would like to impart that kind of knowledge to the young people. Okay. So you recently got married and your wife is in the US. How is the long distance relationship working out? How long did you date your wife before you decided to get married?
It's almost like 3 years. And then after that, we tied the knot back in last November. Tied the knot. And then before that also, we were a very close-knit relationship. Even though it was a long distance, we always made sure that we had a good contact with each other. And then I know what she does on an everyday basis.
And she knows. So she keeps a tab on you?
Not exactly, but she has complete trust on me in terms of on that side, actually. Yeah, it's tough, obviously. And then I feel the difference between when she's here versus when she's not here, obviously.
So she visited you a couple of months back or something like that?
Yeah, last month.
Last month. So you're planning to visit the US, or you're in the process of with the paperwork?
Currently in the process. Right
paperwork. Okay. And you come from a very strong religious background.
Not exactly that way, meaning my grandparents, my father and my mother, they have a very strong belief. I'm kind of like a...
So you are a Tibetan, am I right?
Yes.
So you moved from, your parents moved, that generation moved from Tibet to India, or how did that happen?
Great grandparents moved from Tibet to India back maybe in the 60s, 1970s. And then with my grandparents, actually, they were kids back then, like teenage year. And then my parents were actually born in India.
So they moved to the southern part of India, where they're living in the northern part?
At first it was part of India. Then the Indian government gave us like different settlements across different part of India. And then finally we got settled down in the southern part of India.
So your parents are living in Mysore, am I right? In that area? So that's a Tibetan settlement?
Yes.
You have all your friends, relatives?
Yeah, so there are many Tibetan settlements all over India. And even in the state of Karnataka, there are like 4 to 5 different settlements. And in and around Mysore, right, if you like just go for like maybe 60 kilometers towards north, you will see Hubli, there's one there. And then you see Bailakubi. You must have heard about Golden Temple there, right? There's a Tibetan settlement there as well.
In Punjab?
No.
No, in Mysore itself, there's a Golden Temple. Yeah. I don't know about that.
And then a lot of tourists go there, actually.
Is that right?
Similarly, on the southern side of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu border, right? That's where my own settlement is there.
So you pretty much grew up with your own community. Can I say that? Am I saying that right?
Yes. So up until my 12th standard, I grew up within my own community. But up to my 10th standard, I was at my home. And then from 12th standard, I went to a boarding school. Another Tibetan settlements where they have higher secondary, the schooling there. So from that moment, I started living outside of my own family member. And then college onwards, living my life in Chennai.
So you speak Tamil very well? Or you're still struggling?
I understand well.
You understand?
The local Tamil, not the pure one.
Not the pure Tamil. How do you manage then?
I can speak. I can live. Basically.
You can live. Because how about Tibetan? You're fluent in Tibetan?
Yes.
That's what you speak at home?
Yes.
Very nice. It's really nice, Jigme. I have never got a time to talk with you, but even though it's a very short podcast, I think this is very lovely to talk with you and get to know more about you. And I hope you continue to inspire. And Bala and Abhishek have highest regards for you and your work, and you continue to inspire everyone in this company. Best of luck with
Thank you so
with
much.
your married life as well as ANB.
Yeah,
Thank
once
you so
again,
much.
thank you so much.